How do economic conditions impact entrepreneurship?
Well, we tend to see we group the economies in three economic development levels. We have the emerging economies that are, for example, in the MENA the countries of Middle East, North Africa, Sub-Saharan African economies, some of the Southeast Asian economies. We call those the factor-driven, and they're really the early stage economies that are more reliant on extractive businesses. They don't really have industrialization happening at that point. They don't really have the infrastructure, political stability, or economic stability. There, we tend to see a very high rate of entrepreneurship, and it tends to be more necessity-based because those societies can't supply enough jobs, so people self-employ. Then when we get to the middle stage economies, and that includes the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, and China in South Africa, as well as much of Eastern Europe and Latin America, then we start seeing industrialization take hold. What happens is necessity-based reasons for jumping into entrepreneurship start to decline. Opportunity-based entrepreneurship starts to account for more of the reasons for getting into it. But we start to see a much lower rate of entrepreneurship because those in the earlier development stage that have to find jobs, that have to find a source of income, now have a choice that they can go in and work for somebody else. They can work as an employee. So we see declining entrepreneurship rate relative to economic development levels. And then when we get into the wealthier economies, necessity entrepreneurship continues to decline. We have more opportunity based. Now during a recession, we see that even in the developed economies, the entrepreneurship rate tends to go down like we saw in the US during the recession, but proportionally more of those entrepreneurs are necessity oriented. So really what we saw during this last recession is opportunity-based entrepreneurs were staying put. They weren't launching into their businesses. They were either waiting or opting out, staying with their current employment if they had it. So the economic downturn can really affect the entrepreneurship rate as well as the proportion of necessity entrepreneurship. But then when we saw the rate come up in 2011, we saw the opportunity entrepreneurs coming back in and pulling that rate up.
Well, certainly that's a good thing. Now maybe we're heading up, maybe we're about to take a dive. Yeah. Assuming that things don't go so well in the next year or so in the economy, what can be done to encourage the opportunity type of entrepreneurs?
The opportunity-based entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
Well, it's making them feel positive that their conditions in the environment are enabling them to start businesses. It's the access to finance that can be really important. The ability to recognize opportunities, to network. I think even when we talk about the global nature of entrepreneurship, to get people together from other countries and other backgrounds and really exchange ideas, because that's where truly novel concepts can increase and come up.